So yesterday in MotorTrend's podcast, Inevitable, Ed Lowe and Johnny Lieberman interviewed Scott Keogh, the CEO of Scout Motors. And Scott revealed a few more details about the upcoming Scout vehicles. Super exciting information, and I am excited to get into it with you. So let's do it. Hey, so it's been a bit since our last update via All About Scout, and it looks like we have some new news from CEO Scott Keogh. Yesterday, he was on a podcast and provided some more detailed information, which we've all been waiting for, on the battery electric version of the Scout vehicles, as well as the Harvester version. And in some, I've had a little bit of help from our friends over at Scout EV Forum, which is a great online community to join. They've got lots of information, lots of polling on what folks want in the new Scout, and the Scout company, Scott included, they're looking at that. And, that data is being used in how they develop this vehicle. So it appeals to the most people because, of course, they want to sell it. But anyway, according to CEO Scott, the battery electric version of the Scout will be in the 120 to 130 kilowatt hour range. The EREV, the battery plus four-cylinder version, will be in the 60 to 70 kilowatt hour range. But the battery chemistries may be different, he noted. Performance of the EREV, as it's called, so that's a four-cylinder engine that is charging the 60 to 70 kilowatt hour battery, will do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds versus 3.5 for the battery electric vehicle version, due to a less expensive chemistry, according to Scott. He confirmed that there will be a 350-mile range on the battery electric vehicle versions of the Scouts, and the EREV with the small four-cylinder engine will have a 150-mile range on the 60 to 70 kilowatt hour battery alone. But when you add in the Harvester four-cylinder engine, it'll add an additional 350 miles. So you're talking about 500-mile range on the Harvester version of these vehicles. The Harvester version of the vehicles will also have a creative solution for cooling. Stay tuned for what that means. Hopefully that's some weight savings and cost savings, but more importantly, that it'll create efficiency for range. But payload-wise will be the same for both the battery electric version and the EREV, around 2,000 pounds. So that's pretty good. Towing will be about the same. So not the best we've seen, not the worst, but actually I think surprisingly low numbers from my perspective. But Scott also said that the engine will be a good high output four-cylinder small engine that packages well. So confirmed for the four-cylinder engine that will be used in the Harvester version of the Scout vehicles. Also, Scout is considered a limited liability company, an LLC, and reports to Volkswagen Germany. Volkswagen is the sole provider and funder at this time. That could certainly change. We've seen that with Rivian, but, Volkswagen is definitely interested in the future of Scout. They've certainly invested up front in that, and I think they see a future. So do we. Scout is structured with the ability to seek strategic partnerships outside and gain additional capital, or to go public. So there is some flexibility there. Again, Volkswagen is the, primary, if not sole investor right now, but that could change going forward. He would not say, that is Scott, whether the Harvester will cost more, but noted that in-demand features can be more expensive. So I think that was just sort of an early warning that the Harvester version, since it's more popular, and I would say is a more complicated system, is likely going to be more expensive than the battery electric version. So stay tuned on that front. Call it electrification with a twist, but obviously there's going to be two different drivetrains with the Scouts. That is the battery electric version, and what is often called now the range extended electrical vehicle option. That is, REV, REEV, or EREV in some circles. I think Scout is using more EREV than range extended electric vehicle, but that will offer extended range and address charging infrastructure concerns that many have. I certainly forecast that we'll see more of those going forward under the current administration. I think Scout is likely trying to get in front of that, as are many manufacturers, to include Ford and Rivian with interviews that I've seen of late. No need to panic yet, but it is something that these companies are factoring in. Scout is also still planning to continue to manufacture the Scouts in America. They're still building the factory in South Carolina and aiming to localize 85% of its supply chain and generate thousands of jobs. I think close to 5,000 when it's all said and done. Over 70% of reservations are for the SUV model of the Scout. And a majority are opting for the range extended version. That's just over 50%, as I understand it. So, at this point, it's pretty evenly matched, I would say, between the battery electric version and the electric range extended version. So Scout is trying to adapt to, the market shifts and presenting options to consumers. So that's great. And allowing essentially for a easier transition to electrification. Regarding off-road capabilities, we know it's going to have that. They're emphasizing the solid rear axles and high gradability and strong towing capacities, although I do think that the 2,000 pounds is a little bit lower than I expected, but that might just be a safe number that Scout and Scott was able to put out now. They'll also offer a broad range of off-road accessories, which I'm really excited about in terms of customization. That's always something that's, been true to the brand. So excited to see that. And as far as Volkswagen Group's role, Scout operates independently within VW Group. It benefits from the access to VW's industrial infrastructure. There are cost advantages to that, obviously, in terms of the investment that Scout is seeing from Volkswagen. But there's also some complications that, we're hearing of. Dealers, Volkswagen dealers, Audi dealers, they're not happy about the idea of the, direct-to-consumer sales model. We saw this when Tesla was starting out. We still see issues with that in some states in the United States. I imagine we're going to see more of that regarding Scout, because these VW dealers, they want to sell these vehicles at the dealerships. They know it's going to be a halo vehicle that's going to bring people in. I mean, honestly, the Scouts are more exciting than any Volkswagen that I've seen out there now. So stay tuned on that front. Lots of innovation on the software that is developing nicely. I think there's going to be some software program sharing with, Rivian. Scout's future plans will, remain focused on the American market. Potential for future expansions, including additional model variations, possibly a larger SUV or a smaller off-road focused model, according to Scott. But, the direct-to-consumer sales model is how they're going to deliver, these first two vehicles. But I do think that they've got some uphill battles to fight with Volkswagen dealership groups. It's a very competitive landscape. I do remain fascinated by the Volkswagen investment in Scout, and also the Volkswagen investment in Rivian. I would say that, Rivian and Scout are, going to be competitive with each other. Competition is good for, lowering prices. I think that can only benefit Rivian, because I don't think Scout is going to be able to go much lower on price as an earlier startup than Rivian. So this is going to be really interesting, but I remain excited and optimistic about it. Some insights based on numbers: 85% of Scout's supply chain will be localized to North America, reducing reliance on foreign imports. That's a good thing. That goes with what the new administration in the US wants. The 500-mile total range for the range extended electric model provides a lot of advantage over its surrounding competitors. That's more range than even, a $100,000+ Rivian. So, very attractive there. 70% of early reservations are for the Scout SUV. I'm not surprised by that. I think, America prefers SUVs over pickup trucks, though we still love our pickup trucks. And I think if you're going to buy an EV that fits more with the SUV, I think people remain skeptical on EV pickup trucks. And I also think in general that the Scout SUV is a little better looking than the pickup truck, but I'm still a big fan of both. A little over 50% of the reservations lean towards the range extended model. Again, no surprise there when you're talking about 500 miles of range, and a lot of the folks that would be attracted to the Scout vehicle because of its tradition as a gas vehicle, they want an engine. And while this is not a traditional one, it's a 4-cylinder, engine that is not driving the wheels, it's charging the battery. But, that makes people happy, whatever floats their boat. The Scout factory will have a unit capacity of over 200,000 a year. So I think, whether they hit that number in the first couple years, I doubt it, but I do think that reservation numbers are pretty strong. Although I think they would be stronger if we weren't having to wait until 2027, 2028 to, take delivery of our Scouts. But hopefully things move, faster, or, at least remain on schedule. And, I think this vehicle has a real chance, especially in this next 4 years under the current administration that is very anti-electric vehicle. I think the Harvester is a good bet, and I think that will, work well for the most people. But stay tuned for more from All About Scout.